The divisional round of the NFL is here. That means a 4-game slate, good prizes up top, and the work begins as it always does here in the Splash Play channel. We're going to dig in and compare projections, looking at stochastic data. Let's see who the top plays are, who the top value plays are. We'll also sort by ownership, see who the chalkiest plays are. We'll hop across the aisle, see what DTR thinks about things. What's your cash game build? If they have Sims on there, we'll run them. We'll run Sims on stochastic. I'll do a hand build. And by the end of this video, guys, you will know all the industry's must plays for the divisional round coming up this weekend. And let's get into it here. Sorry for the late start for the live viewers here. Was trying to get some stuff ready for NBA. And then I realized I actually didn't put up the event yet for the NBA video today. So I'm an idiot, but I've been very much in NBA mode this week, as you might have seen, building out the splashplaypodcast.com website. And unfortunately, that has been spending a lot of time in the NBA world, a little bit less time in the NFL, but it is looking really good for the NBA data. If you want to check it out, check out the Splash Play channel. But at this point, it does seem like I need to get back in the NFL world. Got to build out my stuff for NFL too. So that's going to be coming up as well in the coming weeks. But for right now, I don't know why this video is not going out over Twitter. All right, well, fuck it. Let's get into it here. Let's sort by our top 50 players, and shouts to the live chat as well. All the members only, as always, mode going on here. Got Braden in there. Happy Friday indeed. And it's a great Friday here because we got ourselves Puka Nacua. We got 51% ownership for him, 51% optimal rate, 54% ownership, 23.7 projection for Puka Nacua. Going to put him good tier above everybody else. Thankfully, because we have all 4 games on this largest slate of the day, or of the week rather, we are going to have guys like JSN as a pivot, Christian McCaffrey as a pivot. We only have 5 players above 20 fantasy points on the slate, so obviously Puka Nacua going to be a guy that we're going to want to get to in this situation. I know I'm not saying anything too new here, but this is how we have to establish the table with the projections and all that. But Puka Nacua in this spot facing a Bears defense that, out of all the defenses going this week, I would say is the worst one. 0.09 EPA per dropback allowed on this year by the Bears defense, 0.1 EPA per pass allowed. Versus the run game, they're closer to league average, just a negative 0.01 EPA there. Red zone, they're a little bit better, negative 0.06 EPA. That's closer to league average as well. But for the Bears defense, the fact that you are getting your Rams team here with 26 implied points, which is in fact our, well, tied for our highest total of the week now with Seattle, but still, one of the highest totals of the week by a pretty decent margin. You're also at a spot as well. We do have, Puka Nacua being so talented, Devontae Adams, the touchdown equity there. You have tight ends as well that can bring upside, in certain situations. Parkinson most recently, but Higbee theoretically has some upside as well with how much he's been out there. Ferguson can play at some point. He'll have upside as well. So for the Rams spot, that's really how it looks. Puka Nacua is obviously the one we're expecting to have the biggest upside, but if you do see touchdowns flowing Devontae Adams' way, something like that, it would not be a shocker with what we've seen this year. But as is right now, Puka Nacua, top protected guy to 23.7 projection. I think he's got the best matchup, all these top protected guys as well. So Puka Nacua to me looking pretty good. JSN, another guy getting, I think, a favorable matchup going his way as well. The Niners defense is a little bit worse over the season than the Bears defense, 0.12 EPA per dropback, 0.14 EPA per pass allowed. So JSN, much like Puka Nacua, in a good situation. And unlike Puka Nacua, JSN is really nobody else is going to take production away from him. The touchdowns in the pass game, if they're going there, there's not really Devontae Adams pulling targets away from JSN. He is leading the receivers on the year with 1 red zone opportunity a game, 0.4 of which inside the 10-yard line. Besides that, you have AJ Barner getting 0.9 a game, Rashid Shaheed 0.5, Cooper Kupp getting 0.8. So really for JSN, he does control most of the touchdown equity there. And obviously the target share has been huge for him, 34% target per out run for JSN relative to Puka. Puka ended the year at 37%. So Puka a little bit higher, but these two is about as good as you can get in that category of commanding targets while these guys are out there. I would say for JSN, for Puka, if you could somehow afford both, it would be a good situation because these guys are in really good matchups against 2 of the worst pass defenses on the slate by a really good margin. But JSN, about a 22.6 projection. So a little bit behind Puka Nacua. Value metrics pretty much dead even. Puka Nacua at a 2.63x value. JSN at 2.7x rounding up. So really these two guys, both great plays in their own right. And certainly, I don't know if the field's going to go, instinctually to try to plunk both guys into a lineup. But certainly if they do, you go and max one of these guys might be a way to play and get more unique. With Puka and JSN, is it worth considering Corum or even further down with McLaughlin? Feels bad. I'm not there mentally to try to get there for these guys off the top of my head. Certainly, if you're going to try to cram in guys and spend about 18K combined between Puka and JSN, you have to put in some specious values. But who that value is, or whether these guys even come up together a lot in the top ROI lineups, we'll wait till we get to the sin portion of things where we can decide if that's a good move or not. Christian McCaffrey, 22.4 projection. Last week, I very bravely caped for the San Francisco 49ers, as well as Christian McCaffrey in that spot. Mentioned the pass game matchup going against the Eagles really was the best for running backs compared to everybody else, on the field. So for McCaffrey hit last week. This week, got another spot where it is not a great total for the Niners here. You are getting under 20 implied points again. You're getting 19 flat for the Niners here. One thing that is good for McCaffrey is that the Seahawks do funnel targets to RB. Very high 20.4% target per out run rate to the RBs over. Actually, no, 20% target share. Excuse me, misspoke there. 20% target share to RBs for comparison. Seattle going against the Niners, about a 19% target share, which is pretty good. Then you go to teams like Houston, 17.5%. Going against the Patriots. Patriots getting a 17% RB rate. So it is an appreciable difference. I know 20% compared to 17 rounded up might not sound like a big one to you, but it is really a spot where Seattle giving up RB targets at a rate that's as high as anybody in the league, just about. So McCaffrey, the PPR scam might be in there, but you are seeing a tougher matchup where Seattle's run defense is so good. Negative 0.13 EPA per rush, one of the best marks in the league. Negative 0.28 EPA per red zone rush, also one of the best marks in the league. So if he does get there, I think it's going to be half the more through that pass game, more through the PPR scam of it all. If you're telling me I had to choose two of these top three guys between Puka, JSN, and McCaffrey, looking at the projections, looking at the matchups, I would favor Puka and JSN because these guys are in really soft matchups. McCaffrey is quite arguably in one of the toughest matchups that he'll face this year. But that said, McCaffrey, we know the upside there, and certainly, Fields going to be owning him at about half the rate of lineups. So McCaffrey going to be a popular play. I would favor the other guys though a little bit more. Josh Allen, a $7,100 salary here, facing a Denver team that'll be one of the toughest defenses he faced this year. Buffalo, 22.5 implied points. One thing that does stand out, Denver, one of the best QB run defenses in football, giving up only a 0.36 EPA on those plays, which is actually a very good number. In general, QB rushes are more efficient for, going against the defense as opposed to, what you're getting right now from Denver. So for Josh Allen to spot, expecting them to congregate on him pretty decently. The man defense splits are pretty big here, so maybe you got guys turning their backs a little bit more to Josh Allen, trying to cover the receivers. I guess it's a possibility if you're trying to give some case for him and his rushing upside. But Josh Allen, not a guy I've been super stoked to play at the price tag. Usually hard to afford a 7K plus QB. At 7,100 for Josh Allen, 20.7 projection. Fields going to play him at 14%. That seems fair. I would say not a game, not a play I want to get necessarily across everything. I would say the game theory of Josh Allen, a little bit under-owned relative to his optimal rate, but I don't think you're over-owned. I don't think you're under-owned. I think you want to hold hands to that 15%, and that feels about good enough. Matthew Stafford, he's the guy I like the most conceptually on paper. Do you think, obviously, Seattle, Sam Darnold going against that Niners defense, like we talked about, it's a really good spot for JSN. As a result, it will be a good spot for Darnold relatively. But Darnold, we know, can kind of find his floor in various ways if the Niners just get some positive progression on a defense that's been really bad all year. I don't know why they would. Fred Warner's still not going to play this game, it looks like. But, if that's the case, maybe you do see Darnold, see some ghosts out there, make some mistakes. Even against the bad defense, Darnold can fuck up. Stafford has made mistakes throughout the year, but in the playoff spot with him and seemingly the peak of his powers right now, going to a Chicago team that, I think is feisty defensively, but definitely not getting the results in the pass game that you want to see. I think Stafford should get a lot of success here. Obviously, the Vegas total supports that as well, so this is not a brave take to say I like Matthew Stafford. But at the price tag, $6,600, a little bit expensive. But him and Puka Nacua, I feel like very obvious first choice to get here. And I want to be there as long as he's, as long as Stafford's on our cash game QB when we run the optimal lineups in a minute. All right, let's sort by value here. I assume another slate where we don't have great value, and that's the case. It's all QB value up top. Bo Nix, your top value at an 18.7 projection. Sam Darnold, number 2 at 17.4. So he might be our cash game buy, actually. Maybe him and JSN. We'll see in a moment. Matthew Stafford, a 20-point projection, about a 3x value. Drake May, about a 3x value. Brock Purdy, about a 3x value. Caleb Williams, about a 3x value. And Josh Allen, despite being one of the highest projected guys on the slate and your highest projected QB, he's only a 2.9x value. So that's part of why he's not coming up super frequently. This is really flat ownership, too. Nobody above 20%. Darnold expect to be the highest, so he is probably our cash game QB. 18% ownership there. But no real value, guys, to note. Your best value that's not a QB is RJ Harvey at 6,200. Jake Tungus filling in for George Kittle. The matchup going against Seattle. League average EPA allowed to tight ends. League average rate, 11% target share. Going to tight ends as well. Yeah, Tonga's probably your best value, but Really not a great value slate. No 3K guys going to try to get to you, 4K guys. It is mostly a spot where your QBs are top value, which has been the case on DraftKings pretty much all year. Let's sort by ownership here real fast. And guys, show some love if you can. Again, not going to be a lot of live viewers today because I think there's a ton of streams going on at the same time. But show some love if you can. Again, no matter what, after the live viewing, I know a lot of you guys are checking out Saturday, Sunday sometimes. This slate maybe not so much. But join down below, hit the like button, subscribe. Does mean a lot to me here. Just one guy showing you my gambling ultimately and doing the best I can to fight that YouTube algorithm. And right now, a little bit less NFL content as the showdown slates ramp down. We're not in best ball season yet as well. So please help me out. Hit that like button and subscribe as well if you want to get my matchup sheet. Still in the simplistic Excel upload form of things, but it comes out every Saturday. It's good stuff coming out on the channel here. So please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please join down below if you want to be part of the live chats or if you want to see my data sheet updated. Premium video as well coming out after this one. So if you want that, that's the $5 tier. And of course, Stochastic, all the stuff you're seeing here on screen, get it 15% off with the promo code SPLASH. Link down below, then use promo code SPLASH when you get over there. It's a big thing. You guys have been showing up in a big way for it. I think there's going to be good things for me in Stochastic here in 2026. So join down below, get good stuff for yourself for this home stretch of NFL season. The Sim's going to carry you further than ever, I would say at this point. Your data prep process, check it all out with Stochastic. Again, promo code SPLASH. And last but not least, join the channel here, $5 to join. It's a really good deal right now. You get the matchup sheet and also the premium videos. And price is probably going to go up next year because it's going to be more of a fully fleshed out website like I have for NBA. So get in now, get the data sheet, and it's glory days while it still lasts. It is not in website form like it will be next year. All right, your top owned plays, Puka Nacua, number one, 54% ownership. Great matchup for him. I really have no issue with it. I feel like we've said enough about Puka here. Got the touchdowns last week. That won't always be the case with Devontae Adams. Overall this year, taking more red zone work. Adams getting for himself 2.3 red zone opportunities a game across the year. Puka Nacua 1.1, 1.6 a game for Devontae Adams inside the 10-yard line, 0.7 for Puka Nacua. So that's really the big thing here that we saw last week. I don't expect to necessarily hold forever, but Puka Nacua at that much ownership, hard to imagine being under the field. Even though the optimal rate is technically a little bit lower at 51.2% compared to the 53.7% ownership. Christian McCaffrey, also 53% ownership, a lower optimal rate at 47. For RB on the slate, not a lot of great RB plays that you trust a bunch. We do have some split backfields as well, like New England's, the Rams to some extent, Houston to some extent, though, again, it's mostly Woody Marks backfield at this point. Seattle, definitely a split backfield. Denver, not so split at this point. It is mostly RJ Harvey. James Cook, mostly leading the way in Buffalo, though if Ty Johnson can get healthy. I haven't seen updates on that yet this week. That'd be something that would certainly impact that a little bit. Even Chicago, it's going to be mostly Swift, but Benung guy can get hot take work away. I get why you'd want to trust McCaffrey and just get that points in, get those points in, feel good about it. But I think in this slate where the pricing's pretty tight, we don't have any real values. You go to McCaffrey, go into Puka Nacua. Somehow, if you try to get those two and JSN, I don't think it's going to work. But you're pushing yourself towards very kind of similar builds. I think that's going to be not great for the 4-game slate. So McCaffrey to me, just one guy. I get being with half the lineups. But I would like to get less, and I'd like to get a little more different. And I'd like to find more ways to get Puka and JSN as opposed to cramming McCaffrey in there. JSN at number 3. We talked enough about that Niners defense, about as bad as the Bears defense, but technically a little bit worse. So JSN in his spot, having the lion's share, of that offense, definitely playoff ball. You could expect them to try to throw more, at JSN and try to keep him from having that upside. But I would say for JSN, really hard for me to see ways that he and Puka Nacua fail. Even if they don't make a winning lineup, I think they both get you around high teens fantasy points, 20 fantasy points, no matter what. And in most cases, that should be enough to make a winning lineup. RJ Harvey, 6,200. As a value play, you get it. Buffalo's run defense has been one of the worst in football, as we talked about pretty much every week down the back half of the season. 0.1 EPA per rush allowed, worst on the slate. 0.2 EPA per red zone rush allowed, worse than the slate. RJ Harvey getting the full workload here, having the bye as well. Dobbins not healthy, not on pace to get activated anytime soon. So unless RJ Harvey starts fumbling like crazy, it's going to be his workload and a really good matchup. RJ Harvey to me, if you told me I had to own him or McCaffrey more, I'd go RJ Harvey's top projected value on the slate, or one of them, top projected value. It's not a QB. And the floor is obviously lower than McCaffrey, and the ceiling is lower too. I'm not going to say that. But I do think for RJ Harvey, I think he hits where you need him to get at 6,200 more frequently than McCaffrey does at 8,800, just knowing what you can get around RJ Harvey versus what you get around McCaffrey at 8,800. Jake Tonga's a good value. He'll also be the first guy a lot of people plunk in. He's probably your cash game tight end fairly easily. 26.1% ownership for him. So much less than Harvey at 46%, JSN at 51%, McCaffrey and Puka a little bit above that. Jake Tongas, your 5th highest owned guy, but just a little bit ahead of Devontae Adams at 26. Colson Loveland, who's been a monster lately, at 23. Spot for Loveland this week, go against the Rams. Really inefficient tight end defense for the Rams. 0.3 EPA given up to tight end targets. Worst on the slate. Slot targets a little bit less efficient, or a little bit more efficient there. 0.16 EPA is not quite as beneficial, but I think Loveland's in a good spot too. You have no issue with Tongas. Loveland, I also like. I think a lot of people, though, will plunk Tongas in first thing they do. Excited to fade CMC and lean into Stafford with the field fearing the cold. Yeah, I'm cool with that too. Again, the total, definitely no fear of the cold in that total. But that's the ownership right now, guys. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Any low-owned plays? Dalton Schultz under 20. Christian Kirk after his big game last week under 20%. Nico Collins, that concussion situation. Is he in the data set? Nico not projecting the data set right now, so certainly an uptick in opportunity for Kirk, as well as Jaden Higgins, as well as Hutchinson, as well as Jalen Noel, I suppose. And Schultz, they're all going to benefit because Nico Collins being out. He really seemed like he fucked his head up bad from that last week. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but like he smashed his head pretty hard on the ground coming down. Going to be a lot of targets to go around from Nico's opportunity. And, Stroud, frankly, has played better a lot of times when Nico's been out because he just can spread the ball around a little bit more and be more target agnostic. So we'll see. QB's low-owned Cooper Kupp, your leverage against JSN, 14%, at least theoretically. Luther Burden at 12%. Obviously, having Odunze in is not great for him. Conceptually, Woody Marks, DeAndre Swift, 12%. There'll be a lot of McCaffrey, RJ Harvey backfields, if I had to guess. And here's the other guys. Pearsall, if he plays. Brandon Cooks, Colby Parkinson, under 10. Definitely some interesting low-owned guys. Marcus Robinson, if he did get Pearsall out again. Did not see his big game last week coming, but if Pearsall's out, there'll be routes to go around. Higgins, Nico's direct backup, yes, but they could still chop the routes up here. It's the playoffs. They still have guys they could play in there. I would not assume that Higgins gets all the workload that Nico leaves behind. I think that'd be a mistake. All right, let's go to ETR and the solver next, guys. Let's see what they have for us over there projection-wise and in terms of our cash game lineup. Let me log in. Let's move over here. But guys, again, show some love. Hit that like button and subscribe. Does mean a lot here this time of year. Again, the NFL, less and less games to cover, but still going to show up and do the work throughout the Super Bowl run here. So please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And please keep joining as you guys have. Does mean a lot for me here. Check out Stochastic. All the data, all the stuff I just showed you here. Get it for 15% off. The link down in the description. Then use the promo code SPLASH when you get over there. And that gets you 15% off any weekly package, monthly. So getting for a month and you're good to the Super Bowl. Getting weekly if you want to be a stickler about it. Cancel during the Pro Bowl. I don't know. Follow your heart. But, do what you need to do. Check it out, though. All the stuff you want to get a Stochastic, 15% off. And, of course, if you want to see the premium video here, going game by game, if you want to see my matchup sheet, it's all $5. Join down below. It does support the show. Of course, you also get into the live chats here on stream and more on the NBA channel as well for the various tiers if you want to check that out. At some point, it's going to be flat where you can get the same stuff for NFL and NBA if you join the tiers on YouTube, but I haven't set that up yet. Did set up Discord logins, though, on the NBA site, which I was pretty stoked about. All right, let's put in our projections here, 2 projection tweaks rather, because we need to do that to get a cash game lineup to build. Let's build 25 lineups here with ETR data. We'll see what the cash game lineup would be with ETR. And of course, the goal of this process really to see what projections that ETR has are going to drive people towards, because ETR data, one of the biggest things that drives the field's ownership / what they are playing on a given slate. So Stochastic data, another part of that. Obviously, if you want to get even more of a stickler for it, your roto grinders is your run the sims, your whatever, go down the food chain. Saber sim as well is another big one. That's sort of the way you're trying to view this, is like every sort of set of lineups you can put in for the most part exists based upon the projections. And the closer we're getting to market and understanding that, the better off we'll be. For your cash game build, according to TR data, Bo Nix, I'm surprised to see him. Thought it was going to be Stafford based on the Stochastic data. Bo Nix, RJ Harvey. Bo Nix was the top value, though, according to Stochastic, so I guess that makes sense. McCaffrey makes it. So Harvey and McCaffrey, again, I think a very common RB start is going to be RJ Harvey and Christian McCaffrey. Khalil Shakir makes it. Hutchinson makes it. Bit of an uptick in production again, with no Nico Collins expected. Puka Nacua, Jake Tongas, Colson Loveland, so the both tight ends that look the best. And Broncos D. I'm a little surprised by Shakir making it. I don't think that price tag is bad at 5,100, so I kind of get why. And him running mostly slot forward, he won't get the most dangerous matchups against Denver. But overall, across the top 25, getting 100% McCaffrey, 100% Jake Tongas. So those two guys right away, projection-wise, we'll get jammed in more lineups than you would expect. Again, I think it feels a little bit easier to fade McCaffrey than Tongas on a slate where there's no value, but certainly both guys can fail, and if somehow, the Niners just get their ass kicked against Seattle, certainly a possibility given how good Seattle's defense is. They were also talking a little bit of shit after that game. Juwan Jennings said, we wanted this matchup. That's a kind of bulletin board material that Seattle can really get themselves worked up over this week, in some situations. McCaffrey and Tongas make every lineup. RJ Harvey makes 96% of them, so he's also basically in every lineup. He's just not in one of them. Bo Nix is 76% of the top 25 optimal lineups as well. Player stacks wise, nothing to note here. Just McCaffrey and Tongas in half the lineups. You get some Puka and Loveland game stacks, nothing really to note. But overall, 100% of these top 25 lineups, again, we just saw that, so you're nothing new you're being told here, but 100% have at least 2 Niners. So right away, if you were to put max 1 of the Niners or max 1 even of McCaffrey and Tongas, you're probably different from a lot of the field and what they're naturally getting projection-wise. But you're getting, 3 Niners in 40% of these lineups, 4 Niners in 8%. So, yeah, it's a lot of Niners coming up. And 92% of these lineups, you're also getting at least 2 Broncos. So 44% of these lineups have 3 Broncos, 32% have 2 Broncos. So another way, sometimes, that top Niners part of it can pay off, but maybe then the way you got unique is that you played less Broncos. Broncos occurring naturally here. Nix, Williams, and Allen have been getting some love from what I saw Wednesday and Thursday. Nix is definitely your optimal guy. Caleb, I don't buy people playing a lot. I think people think the Rams defense is better than it is, and I think people think Caleb is lucky. I don't know that I agree, but we'll see. Let's see if the Sims are ready here. Oops, why am I clicking here? Sims are ready. All right, so let's put on some game stacking. Let's also... There we go. Go 3 players versus defense allowed. Let's build 250 here. We'll do an ETR sim. Yeah, Broncos heavy, Niners heavy would be the takeaway from what I'm seeing for these ETR optimals. Caleb showed up a lot when you simmed on Wednesday. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think when they update, honestly, the early data runs on Stochastic, and it's not to disparage them in any way, obviously. The early data runs on Stochastic, I think, they're really loose and they're not really tight into projections where they need to be. The ones that come out, usually their Friday night update, Saturday morning update, whatever that is, that's the one that's part of why I put my data sheet out Saturday afternoon. That's the one where things have been, I think, really looked at with more of a fine-tooth comb and gotten to where is a realistic expectation of where things will be on Sunday. Now, obviously, things will move a little bit after that because you'll get guys rolled out, you'll get the Vegas totals moving and all that. But I think generally when you run the sims earlier in the week, it's not a bad thing to prepare early, but it changes pretty wildly, I think, because they really dig in more. But anyway, we're just running the sim out here. Get a premium video coming up after this one, guys. We'll go game by game looking at the advanced analytics. NBA coming up at 2 p.m. Even though I did not put up the YouTube event yet, I'll have to make sure I leave myself enough time to get that up between the streams because just got distracted updating the NBA site today. Should have showed you guys that while I was simming. I'll show you guys the NBA site and the changes I've made there too. Because you guys on the NFL channel, you haven't seen the new splashplaypodcast.com. So I'll try to show you guys that in a moment when we do the stochastic sim building. Very happy with how it's coming out. All right, simulating out here in the Millie Maker, 250 lineups. With boosts for stacking and correlation, game stacking generally, which the top 1% of lineups generally have more game stacking than not, especially on these shorter slates, because you want to capture that one game environment that goes nuts a little bit more. Knowledge wild changes as the week goes on. Good to see where people may get stuck on early week priors. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, look, I think in NBA, I think it's more of a waste of time because, if you look at stuff too much in the afternoon, the slate will be entirely different by the time you get to 6 p.m. Eastern. For NFL, yeah, I get it. I think in general, though, the more you for me, I try not to look at stuff until I'm actually feel like the data's sound, everything's where it needs to be. Because I don't want to get too locked in on priors. But as long as you can be agnostic about it. I know there's enough people out there build a lineup. I know for NBA, we have a few of the guys on Discord there where it's they're building lineups at 12 p.m. They don't want to change it. And it's the worst way to gamble. I would say for NFL, it's the same thing. If you're building your lineup on Tuesday, I'm gonna say this for Rob Griffin III for you guys out there. Don't build your lineups early in the week. Get more info, see where things are going. Oh, this guy's injured, he's banged up. How's that impact things? How's the Vegas hold and all that? Your top ROI lineups according to the CTR sim, rather. We'll do stochastic sims in a moment. Number one lineup here, 376% ROI according to ETR Solver Sim here. We got Sam Darnold, RJ Harvey, Christian McCaffrey, JSN, double stack with Darnold. I feel like this very simple double stack with JSN and Barner has hit more this year than the field's played it. But JSN, Jaden Higgins makes it, getting a little bit of that Nico glow up. Devontae Adams getting leverage on Puka Nacua. AJ Barner, Jake Tongas, Broncos D. No leverage on Colston Loveland. That's fine. No issue with that lineup. Wouldn't all be my first choice of players, but I think you got some nice leverage on stuff there. The Adams the Adams from Puka Nacua swap, that alone is always a decent one to make in a high ROI lineup. Number two, at 320% ROI, we got Caleb at QB, RJ Harvey, Zach Charbonnet makes this one. Charbonnet, man, the touchdown equity for him is really large. Obviously, Kenneth Walker can also break big plays, but Charbonnet, they move the ball through the air against the soft Niners secondary, punch the ball in with Charbonnet. Definitely a possibility, so I like seeing him at number two here. Charbonnet makes it with Harvey. JSN makes it. Hutchinson makes this one, so we are getting Jaden Higgins and Hutchinson the top two ROIs, so clearly something here to the Nico Collins vacated target share. Puka Nacua, Jake Tongas, Colston Loveland, Bills D against the Broncos, even though they're playing RJ Harvey, so a little bit unique. Number three, Sam Darnold, a full Darnold stack here. Darnold, James Cook, Zach Charbonnet, JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Christian Kirk makes it. Again, assuming maybe some work uptick after Nico Collins getting ruled out and Kirk showed up in a major way in the first round of the playoffs. Jake Tongas, Christian McCaffrey, Bills D. 4 out of 5 Darnold lineups up top. Number 4, Sam Darnold again. Kenneth Walker makes this one. McCaffrey makes this one. Sutton makes this one. JSN again. Cooper Kupp makes this one. AJ Barner again. Stephon Diggs makes it. And Broncos D makes it. And at number 5, you got Darnold, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, JSN, Cooper Kupp, Hutchinson, Schultz, Devontae Adams, Broncos D. That's just ahead of Stafford, our first Stafford lineup. Stafford with Puka and Higbee. McCaffrey, Charbonnet, Sutton, Kirk, Puka, Tongas, Higbee, Texans D. It's a lot of Darnold, man. It's a lot of Darnold. You just ask Grok. Grok will solve all of your stuff. If you really want to get better at DFS, Grok's the way to do it. Do a couple of the single lineup sim just to see unexpected potential values. Yeah, it's fair. Again, it's just not getting married to stuff, which I know most of you guys, especially you guys in the live chat right now, you're not going to do that. But yeah, there's always a lot of people at home that like that, and I get it too. Again, I've mentioned on stream a bunch. When I build my lineups before I do a stochastic live before lock or whatever, I really don't want to change them. I feel like I spent a lot of time before a show doing all that stuff. But I do think for, how it usually looks is you want to build your lineups as close to lock as possible. And if things do change, you have to be willing to swap around and change things around, because even if your best laid plans, they don't matter as much as oh, this thing is now a better play and nobody's going to want to swap to it. Because if you don't want to swap, nobody else wants to swap. That's general rule of thumb. Anything you don't want to do, nobody else in the field wants to do either. Your top ROI player, Marvin Mims. Talk about a throwback here. A guy I feel like has been useless this entire season. Marvin Mims, only 2% exposure, but when he does hit, 106% ROI, one of the highest, or actually the highest, amidst these ETR lineups. Number 2, Jaden Higgins, 77% ROI, fields at 11. Hooper, 76% ROI, fields at 0. Keon Coleman, 70% ROI, so you're really not getting him a lot, but Hooper, Coleman, these guys are spiking a good amount, along with Mims. When they are being played, obviously they're not getting played very often. Eric Saubert coming up here, not getting played very often, but a 69% ROI. Very nice number here for Eric Saubert. And Bo Nix, 10% ownership, 68% ROI. So Higgins and Nix, your only guys with any actual ownership that are amongst the top ROI guys. But Mims, Hooper, Keon Coleman, Saubert, apparently decent dice rolls according to ETR. Let's go to Stochastic next, guys. Let's build a sim out here. You see what the solver has for you. Of course, you can always check the solver out. No promo code deal going right now, but check the link down below. Use promo code SPLASH over there if you want to sign up, because then at least get some attribution. So somebody gets something out of this. But solver is a great tool. Definitely, be nice if they gave you a promo code. It is what it is. Just being real about it. Real fast, while we build this sim over here in Stochastic, of course, you can see the sim starting to build out. Number 1, check out Stochastic, 50% off with that promo code SPLASH, link down below. And of course, join the channel here, because when you join the channel, number 1, you get stuff like this. Let me show you my All right, that was a weird one. My colors were off now too. I accidentally entered standby mode. So that's a new one for me. I was trying to show you guys this new Splash Play site. The sim is done running though, so we'll not waste time. But that was fucked up. I hit like function and L and it just shut down the computer. I'm like, what the fuck? So I think we're okay, right? We're back here. Everything's running all right. Is the audio okay? Yeah, okay. All right, we're good. All right, well, that was weird. Anyway, the Sim's back up. Sorry to lose the 20 viewers that couldn't wait a minute to see if I came back. I was going to figure it out, guys. Don't worry. Your top ROI lineups here, according to Stochastic. I won't show you the NBA site now because now I'm too scared. Matthew Stafford, RJ Harvey, Zach Charbonnet, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, AJ Barner, Dalton Schultz, Broncos D at number 1. So Stafford stuff. That's what I want to see. We're getting a Stafford double up top. Number 2, Matthew Stafford, James Cook, RJ Harvey, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Hunter Henry, Tyler Higbee, Seahawks D. Number 3, Matthew Stafford, RJ Harvey, Ramondre, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Khalil Shakir, Jake Tongas, Dalton Schultz, Seahawks. Gotta say, I am much more in the bag for these stochastic sims than I felt like about the ETR ones. Audio's good, but Jaden isn't playing. Oh, how unfortunate. How unfortunate. Looks and sounds fine. All right, yeah. Definitely my color palette is different now. I don't know why. Like I look more yellowy. And I feel like the background color is different. Doesn't matter. Number 4, Bo Nix. Our first Bo Nix lineup in the top 5. RJ Harvey stacked up with him. Ramondre makes it. JSN makes it. Pat Bryant. Cortland Sutton makes it. Dalton Schultz, Devontae Adams, Seahawks D. And number 5, got Matthew Stafford again. RJ Harvey again. Kenneth Walker, Christian Kirk, Devontae Adams, Luther Burden. Lots of guys with a third here in their names. Dalton Schultz, Puka Nacua, Seahawks D all make it. So your top 5, 4 of them are Stafford. Yeah, I like it more. Christian Kirk at 4,100. He's your top ROI player. Only guy on the slate with a positive ROI, according to Stochastic data. Seahawks D, negative 1.3% ROI. Dalton Schultz at number 3, same number. Jake Tongas at number 4. RJ Harvey at number 5. Jaden Higgins and AJ Barner right behind him. Stack ROI-wise, we've got Darnold, not number 1. He's actually the worst single stack guy. I imagine a lot of people are just going to cram Darnold in with JSN. That's part of why Stochastic not wanting to put you there. Caleb Williams, number 1 in a single stack, but all these guys have negative ROIs. Double stacks, everybody's also got a negative ROI, but Stroud's the highest ROI. Stafford, number 2. Bo Nix, number 3. Triple stacks, Stroud's got a 11% ROI. People not wanting to go to the triples with Nico Collins out, so maybe some upside there. We got Sam Darnold at number 2, Bo Nix at number 3 in terms of QB triple stacks. Highest exposures overall, RJ Harvey, 81% of lineups, getting one of the best spots on this matchup. Like really, to me, based on the EPA data, your best matchups are going against that Bears defense, going against that Niners defense, pass defense that is, for both, and then going against the Bills run defense. So to me, RJ Harvey, very logical while you get there. The field's getting there too, so maybe that means take more looks at Nick's passing game stacks that fade Harvey and hope that can hit, I suppose. Or, things where the Broncos fail entirely, I guess. Number 2, you have Puka Nacua, 65% exposure, Fields at 22. JSN, 56% exposure, Fields at 52. Seahawks D, you're getting in 53% of lineups, the Fields at 19. No, Brock Purdy's had some bonehead interceptions this year, and Seahawks are one of the best defenses in football. It's a lot of a defense, though, going against a Niners team that's well-coached and mostly competent. Devontae Adams, 48% exposure, so you're getting Puka a lot, and you're getting Adams a lot. 48% exposure in the Fields at 26. Obviously, we did see a lot of Stafford up top, so I imagine you're going to get Stafford with Puka and Devontae Adams, a good amount in Stochastics lineups as well. Your highest leverage guys. Again, Seahawks D, again, 35% more in the field. Really big stand here with Seahawks D and more than half the Stochastic top 150 lineups. The field's at 19% ownership. RJ Harvey, 34% more. He's at 80% of Stochastic's top 150. The field's at 47. Christian Kirk, 30% leverage, getting 45% exposure. Field's at 15. Devontae Adams, 22% exposure. Field's at 48. Dalton Schultz, 21% leverage. The field's at 38. Stochastic's at 38% exposure. Field's at 17. I might have been saying that incorrectly, but you guys know what I'm saying. If you're looking at the screen, you get what I'm saying. Really big stands on Seahawks D, RJ Harvey, Christian Kirk, Devontae Adams, Dalton Schultz, and Zach Charbonnet, who people will forget, but he is your touchdown hound for the Seahawks. And if you expect the Seahawks to move the ball with JSN, Charbonnet may benefit from that. Kenneth Walker needs to score from the 20s, basically. He's not getting that red zone work. It's all Charbonnet when they get in the red zone and get close to the goal line. Christian McCaffrey, the biggest fade here, negative 19% leverage. He's still in a third of Stochastic's top 150 lineups, but not anywhere near the field's 52% ownership. Like I said, I prefer JSN and Puka. It seems like the sim is in agreement here. Kyron Williams, big fade here, not getting played at all, only 0.7% exposure. So basically one lineup in the top 150, negative 14% leverage on Kyron Williams. Broncos D, negative 12% leverage. Broncos D versus Josh Allen. Josh Allen not as error prone as he was in his youth, but Broncos can make mistakes happen out of even the best QBs. A little surprised to see them be this big of a fade. Burden, negative 12% leverage, only 1% exposure. Fields at 13. Hard to love Burden again with Odunze back in. Josh Allen, negative 10% leverage, only 5% played. Fields 14. Pretty big stands on both sides by Stochastic, at least in this run of data that, that was updated yesterday afternoon. So we'll see how it looks when they tighten things up. But right now, definitely some pretty big leans towards these guys. Seahawks D, RJ Harvey, Kirk, Devontae Adams. Let's do our hand build, guys. Let me also pull up the studio so we can go to our 5-minute warning here for the premium video. All right, let's pull this up here and let's start the clock. So I got to build this lineup and do my outro in 5 minutes flat. And we're good to go. I will also put timestamps in, guys, so you guys can skip around the brief period that I was not in the stream. But let's get this right here. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Members only live stream. Start in 5 minutes. All right. Timer's starting now. If you want to see the premium stream, 5-minute warning. All right, let's build this lineup here. QB. Let's not go there yet. I'm going to try to go Puka and JSN. I don't feel great about how this is going to work, and I worry about it putting me over the 5-minute timer I'm giving myself, but I do feel like these two guys, two of the best plays on the slate. RJ Harvey, not a guy I'm like stoked about as a player necessarily, but the matchup, not having anybody's going to take work away going against the Bills defense, I think makes sense here. Tight end, I am going to go with the Tongus Loveland combo. I like both guys. I think the price tags for both are reasonable, especially Tongus. All right, we're now getting low on money here. RB, Woody Marks upsetting the Patriots. Let's pray for that. QB, let's go Stroud. Gives us 3150 left. Higgins is expensive. Hutchinson, less expensive. Let's go Hutch here. So we've got a Mark stack with Hutchinson and Stroud. Then we got to put in one defense. We could afford only Broncos, Bills, Bears, Niners. Let's go Broncos. Let's make sure there's a large contest. 25% to first. Love how StreamYard tells me to get ready for the member. Excited for the members only stream, and I already have a Woody. Thank you for that. I've also got a Woody in this lineup. Negative 5% ROI. Suck a dick. We got Stroud, RJ Harvey, Woody Marks, Puka Nacua, JSN, Xavier Hutchinson, Jake Tongus, Colston Loveland, Broncos D. Let's take off Tongus, Hutchinson, Stroud, and Marks. You complete the lineup, Sim. All right, they're putting Nix, Charbonnet, Kirk, Niners in. Let's run this sim. So the team here, Nix, RJ Harvey, Zach Charbonnet, 45% ROI. Zach Charbonnet, Puka Nacua, JSN, Christian Kirk, Jake Tongus, Colston Loveland, Niners D. I don't mind that. I don't mind that lineup. I think really if I just... Hold on, let's go. We got 2 minutes here. Let's go back to Stroud. We'll keep Kirk in. At RB, we'll go... What can we afford here? Only Woody Marks. Let's see, will this lineup sim any better? No Charbonnet. We just went to Stroud and Marks over Nix and Charbonnet. I feel like this has to be a positive ROI because it's more correlated. Yeah, 20% ROI on this. I still like this one too. Stroud, Harvey, Marks, Puka Nacua, JSN, Christian Kirk, Jake Tongas, Colson Loveland, Niners D. Wouldn't mind going Texans D here either if you can afford it. No, we can't afford it, but there's good lineups here. I'll die on that hill. Anyway, we got 1 minute left and change, so let's do a quick, not so quick run through plugs. So number one, NBA video coming up. Actually, you know what we got? While we got this minute, let's hope this doesn't, I don't hit the wrong buttons again. Here's the new Splash Play site, guys. You can see my beautiful face on there. There will be NFL data at some point, but right now it's NBA data. It's built out all largely using Claude. I can't log in. Hold on, let me stop sharing for a second. Let me log in because I don't want you guys to see the password. It is hidden, but like you could maybe figure it out if I show it to you here. You can see here an NBA tool. We put in Derek Queen. We see all the stats. We got all the sorted stats here for every player in the NBA. You have matchup screens, very similar to my matchup sheet. This is what's coming for NFL, guys. It's not coming this year because it's too late in the year for me to care about doing it. I've got a simulator on here. I could also sim out lineups and check them out myself. So lots of cool things coming for me in 2026, including actually for the rookie previews. We're going to have a college data sheet coming in a site like this one as well. But that's the video, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Goes a long way from here, especially on streams. I have to disappear in the middle of it. Hit the like button, subscribe, check it out if you can. Stochastic, 15% off. Use that promo code SPLASH. Check the link down below. Use promo code SPLASH when you sign up. Join the channel if you want my premium stream coming up or the data sheet. And gamble responsibly, guys. Even though it's only money time, time to go. See you soon. Premium stream coming up.